What's going on, YouTube? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing great as usual. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys are the best. Hey, listen, guys, I don't want to be too long here. I just want to just get this out the way, just talk about it because the LG G5, as you guys know, I have the 83-inch LG G5. Guys, listen to me. This TV is amazing, all right? I mean, it is just flat out amazing. You can't get a better TV than this, especially in this size. The LG 83-inch G5 is the best TV I ever had. Point blank, period. Now, listen, it's not perfect. I know you heard that a million times by a million different YouTubers, and they're right because it's not. There are parts of this TV that are very difficult to manage correctly if you know if you really want to really fix them. It takes time, and you know when you have these TVs like I have in the past. I mean, I've had LG OLED since 2017. I had Samsung QD OLED since 2022, just not last year or 20 or this year's model or model year. I have not purchased. I went a different direction. I've had two 77-inch A95Ls. I had a Sony A95K. I've had the S95B, the S90D. I've had a lot of TVs, guys. And I'm telling you, the LG G5 by far is my favorite TV that I've personally ever owned. The reason why I say that is because the brightness and the color pop is amazing. And being that it's pretty much the only player that can get to this level in the 83-inch space, there's really nothing else you can compare it to. And what I mean by that is, let's just say, for example, Samsung came out with a QD OLED 83-inch and a glossy screen. You would best believe that TV would be in my house. That TV would probably be in my house twice, two times. I would probably purchase two of them. That's how much I like QD OLED. And, with that being said, the LG G5 does still have its advantages over QD OLED. And a lot of that, to me, is the main reason why I keep going back to LG. Because with this four-stack technology, this tandem OLED four-stack technology that LG now obtains, the color is just flat out amazing, guys. I mean, come on, let's just take a look right now. Let's slow it down and just look around. Look at the blue. I mean, look at the different shades of yellow. Look at how beautiful that looks. Look at how some of it could be a little bit orange, some of it could be a little bit yellow. It's broken up so nice, and it's in the LG way, guys. With the motion, like the way the grass flows through the air. Only LG can do that. Not Samsung, not Sony. I'm telling you guys, I've done this a million times with different video games. The way anything flows nature-wise, even in gaming, trees in the trees with the wind blowing through the trees, leaves flying in the air, snow falling on the ground, rain. No one makes those scenes look more realistic better than LG. I don't know how they do it. I don't know what they do to do it, but they do it. Not Sony, not Samsung. I don't know about Panasonic. I'm guessing Panasonic might do it too, but it just seems to me, in my personal opinion, that the LG concentrates, the brand concentrates on those things better than the other brands. It just does. It's just what I see. Now, let me just get this one thing straight. Taking the LG G5 out of the box, plugging and playing without doing anything to your settings is not the way you're going to take full advantage of how good the LG G5 is. I don't think really any premium TV out there is. I think if you really are in that premium space and you're paying this kind of money, you kind of understand that, and that's why you're buying it half the reason, because these TVs hand you over the ability to manage your own settings and fine tune them the way you want. And that's why you spend the extra bucks, because the processing gives you that ability to do it. And that's what you're paying for. All right. So if you're not, let's say, a person who likes to customize their settings, I don't even recommend you purchasing a TV like this, because you're not taking full advantage of the high quality, the details, the color, the picture, the way you can set it up to give you more depth, to give you more color, to give you more lifelike images, to give you more everything. If you're not taking the time to do that, then you're probably better off not even purchasing a TV at this level. You can get a nice TV, you can get something in the mid tier, you can get a mini LED, you can save, you can save some good amount of money doing that and still be happy. That's what the TV I would think would be best for that type of buyer. The type of buyer who's into this level, I'm telling you, once you do the work, the best thing to do is go play video games, go stream, go watch your physical disc, and every week change the settings. I'm sorry, change your picture settings. Change it from standard to vivid, or vice versa. Change it to sports. Change it to all of it, and just watch until you've went through every preset. Once you're done going through every preset, I promise you will have somewhat of a good idea of what you want your picture to look like. Yeah, you can go to a reference, you can go to your white balance, you can change your white balance to whatever you want. I don't care. But just take the time to do what you want to do and create your settings the way you want them to be created. And I'm telling you, your experience with this TV will be amazing, guys. I'm still tinkering here time to time, just because I like to, and just because I like to try different things. But I'm telling you, once you get your TV kind of down pat, know where you at with color and things like that, brightness, depth, contrast, saturation, everything, white balance levels, things like that. Now, here's where it's not perfect. That is probably my biggest complaint with LG. It's one of those things that LG has always had an issue with, that they've been known for. But I got to give it to LG, at least now, especially if you know the TVs, and at least LG gives you a workaround. Yeah, it's not the best, but LG knows behind the scenes that there is a workaround. And the workaround, in my personal opinion, is getting around the black levels. So again, as far as the complaint goes, black levels, honestly, guys, when you're streaming primarily, like, again, I never really see this issue in gaming unless the gaming's HDR is really not that great. But most games in HDR are perfectly fine. Like this game, for example, you don't see artifacts in dark areas. You don't see macro blocking in those dark areas there. You see details. You see shadow details. You see improvement. You see smoothness. You see all kinds of, details within the shadows. But there's sacrifices that you can make in order to do that. And in this game, it might not show as much, but there's going to be games that really do seem like you have to kind of crush your blacks a little bit to hide those macro blocking. And that's issues. And that's mostly in streaming, which is even more annoying. So, like, for example, if I'm watching Netflix and I'm watching something that has a lot of dark scenes, well, first of all, you're streaming, so it's going to look dark already automatically just because you're streaming. It, for some reason, it never looks as bright as you make it during gaming or anything like that. Just to me, it has to do with streaming and just the way streaming is, especially depending on what streaming platform you're using. So we already know streaming has issues looking good on any TV. It's just a convenient way to watch TV. You don't have to really, you're not sitting there storing 6,000 DVDs. You're not sitting there. You can just click and watch. So, with that being said, the image quality of streaming is not as good as either gaming or physical disc. I mean, I think we all know that. So you get more issues like macro blocking. You get more issues like artifacts. You get more issues like when you're watching low bit streaming content, that things are just not going to look as good. They're going to look a little pixelated. They're going to look a little, just rough, no details. And LG does a really good job cleaning those things up, but until we see better processing that not only can make a TV beautifully bright and colorful and dynamic and 3D, just like LG does, as you guys can see right here, um, you know, they're going to have to also work on who's going to be able to have the best black shadow detail levels. And I think that's what's going to happen next, because you already have the 4-stack tandem technology. That's just going to automatically going to be improving no matter what. The panel itself separate is going to be improving color. It's going to be improving brightness. And then LG just has to work on better processing for black levels, especially when streaming. All right. Again, these were complaints that have kind of been around for how long now? We're talking years, guys. We're not talking this is something new. So my point is that even with that said, all right, even with that said, since this is an issue that has been going on for years, LG has gotten better. It has, because there was a time where this wasn't even as recommended of a gaming TV, especially when games started getting brighter. People were talking about it was just a dim TV, the colors were dull, and it did start looking outdated just a few years ago. All right. So this is LG's answer. This is LG's improvement. And as you guys can see, these dark levels, look how three-dimensional the inside of that looks right there. If we go up and look, let me just get the right angle here, guys. And I just want to show you. We're going to look up in the sky. We're going to look at this. Guys, this right here, come on. Look at that, guys. And this is Donkey Kong. This is a Switch 2 cartoony game. And look, it looks like you can literally go through the TV. You're looking into an image, guys. You're not looking at an image. The TV is 3D. No other brand does it better than LG in that perspective. I'm telling you. And that is a very common thing looking anywhere in your game. I mean, you can look down this direction and look at the water. Look it through the water. Look how crystal clear all that is right there. I mean, it looks like water. It doesn't look like it's trying to look like water. It basically is water. So these are the things that I'm talking about, guys. So again, it's not a perfect TV because of the black levels. I do think that that's probably going to be the next level of processing. What TV is going to have the best black levels, shadow details back, just in streaming especially. Because that's where, to me, it's the biggest problem. Again, in gaming, in physical disc, I don't really see any of those issues. Sometimes you do see them if the implementation of HDR is bad, whether you're gaming or in a physical disc. I have seen that before. But 90% of the time it looks amazing, and you're not going to have any issues with like hating this TV. Unless you get a dud, unless you really don't like this, there is going to be that small percentage of people, of course, but I would probably say and think it's safe to say if you have this TV at your home, look at it, guys. I mean, come on. Look at the blue sky. There is no dithering. There is no gradation, color gradation. Look at the pop right there. And again, these are my personal settings. I know that there's a lot of people that will say my settings are incorrect because I'm not in HGIG and it's not to the creator's intent and things like that. Screw that, for me at least. I don't want I want my intent. I want the way I want it to look at my house. If a TV has dynamic tone mapping, I'm going to turn that on. And if it blows out details because, it's not as bright, or excuse me, or if it's too bright and it's not as dim as HGIG, then that's what I want. And guess what? I will personally work around it and manage my black levels. And then I'll just take it from there. And I'd rather have the headroom with dynamic tone mapping on and really concentrate and fine tune my black levels than put it in HGIG and just sacrifice all color, and then just have a dead looking image, no color vibrancy and none of that. Where, yeah, it might look good with specular highlights and stuff, but the overall picture is like 30% dimmer. I mean, that's a lot. It's crazy. So I'm not that much of a fan of HCIG for that reason, because it claims it's better, you get more details, things like that, which is fine. I do notice that, you're right, but it's at the sacrifice of a lot of brightness. So me personally, I rather get the headroom with the dynamic tone mapping, and my workaround is, boom, I just work on the black levels and concentrate on that for the better depth, and that's what I do. And you can, if you like HGIG, then that's fine. You can obviously put it on with your settings, and you can do what you do, and that's perfectly cool. I mean, that's never an issue. That's the whole point of these TVs, and that's what makes these TVs so cool. You can play it how you want. But for me personally, I do like the headroom. Another thing that I, say would be the workaround for certain things about the macro blocking is when you bring your black levels down, like let's say, and you're streaming, the workaround, sorry guys, the workaround to me is keeping it in game optimizer mode, right? And let's say you want to stream through like your console, okay? And go to Netflix, for example, stream through your console in game optimizer and change your black levels, and in order to make like that macro blocking a little bit smoother, I think going to the game optimizer settings and playing with your black level settings and bringing those down a little bit will help with that. The only thing is yes, you are going to be in dynamic tone mapping mode, so in dynamic tone mapping, but which will give you the brightness, which will also expose more macro blocking in dark scenes as well, because it kind of lifts everything. So the workaround is to go to game optimizer and play with, and just kind of bring the black levels down so it hides the macro blocking a little bit better. So that's my personal workaround. And I think probably a lot of people already do that, I would assume. But again, I think that's a good way to get around it. Yes, there are going to be some times, especially in darker, especially in like SDR streaming, or darker HDR streaming, Netflix or whatever it may be. I think that's still the best thing to do. But yes, it will crush in some cases in some streaming that you watch. So, but yeah, anyways, that's kind of what I think. And then guys, if you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.